Oh, hello my loves, how are you all today? Welcome back to my channel, or welcome if you're new. My name is Silvina, and in today's video we're going to talk a little bit about how the fashion industry works. Obviously this is going to be a very reduced version of the whole process because it will be impossible to put everything in great detail in a single video, but I wanted this video to give you like a picture of what the fashion industry is and how it works, and basically because I love speaking about this topic. So basically, fashion is not just clothes. It's an art form, it's a form of self-expression that speaks volumes without words, but it's not confined only to the runways, it's weaved into our daily lives. And from the streets to social media, fashion influencers and trendsetters shape our visions and our perception of style. Fashion allows us to push boundaries and defy the status quo, and it's about creating something new, something that resonates with people on a deeper level. And the fashion industry is a global force driving an economy and influencing cultures around the world. So it's an intricate network of creativity and innovation and craftsmanship. So the fashion industry is a global network of businesses and professionals involved in the design, production, marketing, and distribution of clothes, accessories, and other related products. It encompasses a wide range of stages, players, and processes, from trend forecasting and design to manufacturing, retail, and media. The industry is driven by creative expression, consumer demand, and cultural influences. So here's a little bit more detailed explanation on how the industry works. First of all, we have the design and development stage or area, whatever you want to call it. So the process begins with the ideation and design of the pieces. Designers and creative teams bring forth fresh fashion designs, drawing inspiration from trends, culture, and their personal artistic vision. The creative process involves sketching and using digital tools to visualize ideas that will later on become patterns, prototypes, and samples. Fabric selection, color palette, embellishment, and other details that will be incorporated into the design will be carefully selected in this stage. Ultimately, their innovative designs work as the foundation for the production process, leading to the creation of garments, accessories, and collections that capture the essence of the contemporary trends and also the brand. Stage number 2 is manufacturing and production. So once the designs are finalized and the samples are correct and everything is good to go, manufacturers and factories will produce in bulk all of the pieces according to the designer's specifications. This production process also includes sourcing all of the global raw materials that you will need to produce that piece, whether it's like fabrics, trims, buttons, zippers, and all of that, followed by cutting, sewing, quality control, and finishing details like adding labels and packaging. The aim is to bring the designs to life on a larger scale, ensuring timely and efficient production of high quality pieces. As I said, this is a very reduced and simplified story about all of this. We could literally do an entire in-depth video about each stage and it wouldn't be enough. Okay, step 3 is supply chain and logistics. The fashion supply chain is a complex process that involves sourcing raw materials and transporting them to factories for production. So like I said, maybe calling all of these stages is not the correct word, or maybe we should use areas, because they are all interconnected and sometimes they even occur at the same time. So it's not like you go into production and then you go into the supply chain stage. They all happen interconnectedly and roughly at the same time. So yeah, going back to the supply chain and logistics area, finished garments are then distributed through suppliers, wholesalers, agents, and retailers. It requires a very efficient supply chain management to ensure that all of this happens very seamlessly. The key is identifying reliable partners that will offer, the right services and materials at the right cost and high quality, so that you can ensure that the product will reach the final customer at the end seamlessly. Okay, area number 4 is marketing and branding. So this is personally my favorite area and where I feel most comfortable. Maybe you were able to tell, from all of the videos that I did talking about fashion brands, but okay. So in this competitive fashion industry, brands need marketing strategies to, bring awareness and make all of those products that they're selling become attractive and desirable. So these marketing strategies may encompass advertising campaigns, social media, influencer or celebrity collaborations, fashion shows, and PR. A key aspect of success lies in establishing a strong brand identity by crafting a unique positioning, values, and a visual identity. By the way, if you're new to my channel, I actually have a video talking about brand stylistic identity. So if you want to check it out, I will leave it up here. So this distinctiveness allows brands to stand out in the fashion industry and also effectively reach their target audience with a combination of different tactics like advertising, social media, PR, fashion shows, and influencers, among many other techniques. Okay, area number 5 is retail and sales. So fashion products can be sold through diverse retail channels. You have the brick and mortar stores, you have online retailers, you have boutiques, and you have department stores. Retailers purchase items from brands or wholesalers, they curate collections, they set prices, they manage inventory, and they take care of customer service. Sales strategies like promotions and marketing are key to drive consumer demand. Retailers operate on physical stores, e-commerce platforms, or a combination of both, allowing the customer to explore and purchase their own products. So managing the inventory is super important to ensure that the product is available to purchase. But there are also other interesting retail techniques, like for example limited edition collaborations that add uniqueness and an appeal to the offerings. Stage number 6 is consumer trends and demand. Consumer preferences have a significant impact on the fashion industry. Fashion brands and retailers actively track market trends to meet consumers' needs effectively. They invest in trend forecasting and market research, analyzing consumer behavior and monitoring fashion shows to stay ahead of the evolving trends and the evolving innovations and the global influences. Cultural, social, and economic factors also play a pivotal role in shaping consumer demands, so it becomes essential for brands to align their product offerings to that. By closely following these factors, fashion companies can stay ahead of the future consumer demands and adapt to the ever-evolving industry. But we will talk about trends a little bit more later on. So stage or area number 7 is fashion weeks or trade shows. Fashion weeks, trade shows, and industry events are essential for, designers and brands to pitch their products and their collections to buyers, press, and influencers. These events not only facilitate networking and media coverage, but also create valuable business opportunities for people in the fashion industry. By holding these events in major fashion capitals of the world, brands and designers can pitch and promote their products to, potential buyers and industry insiders, ultimately driving innovation and the growth of the industry. Stage number 8 is sustainability and ethical practices. The fashion industry is progressively prioritizing sustainability, ethics, and social responsibility. Key measures involve adopting eco-friendly materials, promoting fair label practices, and supporting ethical supply chains. These initiatives are geared towards creating a more environmentally friendly and also socially conscious fashion ecosystem. Truth be told, this is a very slow process. At least for me, this is my personal opinion, and for many, the advancements made in, this topic are not enough, and rightly so. But also, at the same time, I personally think that a step on the right direction is better than no step at all. And we should all, as a society, both consumers and industry insiders, industry workers, and the industries themselves, the companies themselves, should, do our best, inform ourselves, be conscious, and continue with our sustainable practices. That is the best thing that we all can do as a society. Okay, area number 9 is fashion media and publications. Fashion media outlets, including magazines, influencers, and websites, play a big role in the fashion industry by promoting trends, designers, and brands. They provide extensive coverage of fashion shows, share valuable styling tips, publish editorials, and conduct interviews with the industry insiders, influencing and shaping the world of fashion for consumers and other enthusiasts alike. Through their extensive reach and influence, these platforms are key drivers in showcasing and popularizing the latest fashion trends, creating a dynamic and interconnected ecosystem between brands, designers, and the fashion-conscious audience. Number 10 is licensing and collaboration. Fashion brands often engage in licensing agreements to expand their products offering beyond clothing, for example, including accessories, fragrances, leather goods, home decor, and so many more. Collaborations with other designers, brands, and celebrities are also very common, enabling mutual exposure and also allowing them to tap into different market segments. And number 11 is innovation and technology. The fashion industry wholeheartedly embraces innovation and technology in different areas, incorporating design softwares, digital manufacturing, e-commerce platforms, and both virtual and augmented reality experiences. These advancements have revolutionized the way in which fashion is created, marketed, and experienced, enhancing the industry's efficiency, creativity, and customer experience. But it's important to know that the fashion industry is a very dynamic and fast-paced industry or business that evolves with cultural shifts, technology advancements, and changing in consumer behavior. And although we have talked about the whole process, it may and will vary between brands, markets, and industry segments. Okay, so now that we have mapped out the fashion pipeline very summarized, let's talk about trends and what's their life cycle. So I talked about this in my fashion versus style video, but trends are basically the prevailing styles or designs that gain acceptance and popularity in a specific period, often initially within the fashion industry and then among the general public. They might just last a season or even less than that, called a fad, or they may, stay relevant throughout time and become a classic. Trends typically originate from different sources like designers, influencers, celebrity, cultural movements, and even the street style. These sources have a significant impact in the direction of fashion, and they influence the taste and the preferences of the consumers. Trends in the past were generally envisioned like 3 years before the collection entered the store, and they were generated by a consensus in the fashion pipeline, going from trend forecasters to fashion designers, textile manufacturers, fashion editors, retailers, etc. Nowadays, social media has also given a voice to influencers, bloggers, and normal people in the streets to have a say on scouting and creating new trends. Instead of a trickle-down process from the textile and fashion industry and designers to the streets, we see a bottom-up process from the streets to the runways, where designers are taking inspiration from the streets to incorporate into their collections. But there's also a trickle-across phenomenon, which is when a trend spreads throughout different socioeconomic backgrounds at the same time, meaning that fashion nowadays is not only reserved for the rich and wealthy, but rather that practically everyone has access to it. After the sourcing of inspiration and the creation of new trends, it begins what is called the fashion trends life cycle. So let's break it down into a few stages. The first stage is the introduction. The fashion trend begins when it's introduced to the public. This can happen through runway shows, fashion weeks, red carpet events, and even social media. Then stage number 2 is adoption. Once the trend is introduced, early adopters, which could include fashion-forward individuals, influencers, celebrities, start incorporating those trends into their personal style. Their influence helps popularize the trend and generate interest among a wider audience. Then stage number 3 is mainstream acceptance. As the trend gains momentum, it starts to reach a broader audience. It becomes more accessible through mass market retailers and fast fashion brands and online platforms, making it easier for consumers to adopt the trend into their personal wardrobes. Fashion magazines, blogs, and social media platforms also contribute to the popularization of the trend, making it more visible even further. Stage number 4 is the peak of the trend. At this stage, it's when it's reached the peak of popularity. It becomes widely recognized and adopted by so many people from different demographics. It's prominently featured in stores and fashion advertisements, and basically you see them everywhere. At this point, the market may become saturated with different interpretations and variations of that trend. Stage number 5 is saturation and decline. As the trend becomes oversaturated and starts losing its novelty, people start losing their interest. At this point, practically people are over it and they are looking for the next trend, which is probably already out. Fashion-forward individuals, designers, and industry insiders are probably already adopting a new trend. And stage number 6 is obsolescence and revival. Basically, at this point, the trend is dead. But fashion trends often experience cycles of obsolescence and revival. That is the key to trends. Trends come up and they come down, and they come up and they come down. Some trends may disappear completely only to revive a few years or decades later with a more modern twist. This revival may be driven by nostalgia, designers' reinterpretation, or cultural influences. It's important to note that the duration of each stage in the life cycle of the trend may vary so significantly for different trends. Some trends may rise and fall very quickly, only in the span of a few weeks or a few months, while others have a more prolonged presence. The fashion industry is constantly evolving, emerging, and fading away new trends all the time, this way ensuring a continuous cycle of innovation and creativity. But in the whole trend life cycle, fashion seasons are super important because they have historically been the stepping stone of the creation of new trends. Fashion seasons basically divide the year into specific periods periods in which designers and brands release new collections. The fashion industry operates on a cyclical calendar divided into 4 main seasons. Number 1 is spring-summer. Obviously, the season represents the warmer months and typically begins with the fashion shows and collections being presented in September-October, with the collections hitting the stores in February-March. Obviously, this is based on the seasonal calendar of the Northern Hemisphere. Then number 2 is fall-winter. Fall-winter obviously showcases pieces for the colder months and are showcased during fashion shows typically in February-March, with the collections hitting the stores around August or September. Number 3 is the resort or cruise collections. These are also known as the pre-spring or pre-summer collections. They are designs for individuals that want stylish options for vacations or as resort wear, and these collections are released between the main seasons, often around November or December. And number 4 is pre-fall. These collections bridge the gap between spring-summer and fall-winter seasons. They are introduced during the summer months, typically during July or August, and they typically consist of transitional pieces to transition from summer to fall. In addition to these main seasons, there are also smaller collections or capsule collections that are released throughout the year. Fashion seasons are both significant for designers and consumers. For designers, the seasonal calendar provides a structure to the whole process of designing, production, and manufacturing, as well as showcasing their collections. And for consumers, the seasons create a sense of anticipation and novelty, and it allows them to stay current with the latest trends. But to finish off this video, with the rise of fast fashion and online shopping, the traditional fashion season structure has become more fluid and faster than in previous years. Brands may release new collections more frequently, and customers have access to a wider range of styles throughout the year. In the past, you only had 2 collections every year: spring-summer and autumn-winter. Now, with the rise of fast fashion, you may even have new pieces coming every week or every 2 weeks. Nevertheless, the concept of fashion season remains as a very important aspect of the industry, shaping trends and consumer behavior. So I hope you enjoyed today's video. Let me know down in the comments section, what do you think about this topic? Lastly, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on the notifications down below. And as always, I will leave the links in the description box of all of my social media so you can go check them out. I hope you have an incredible rest of your day. I will see you in my next video. Ciao, ciao!